Hello, good morning students. Today we'll continue with part 2 of our chapter Is Matter Around Us Pure? Okay, in last video we have already seen the basic concepts or basic introduction about the metals, non-metals, okay, and what are the elements. Under the elements we have classified the elements as metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals and non-metals we have seen. Today we will see what is metalloids. See, metalloids are the substances which shows both the properties of metal and non-metals. Okay, we can say metalloids are the elements which shows the properties of both metals and non-metals. Okay, so we can write the definition of metalloids as the elements which shows the property of both metals and non-metals. Okay, so the elements which shows the properties of both metals and non-metals are known as metalloids. We can take the examples of metalloids as boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic and antimony. Okay, see, boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic and antimony, these are the metalloids. These are metalloids. See, again I am repeating, the metalloids are the elements which shows the properties of both metals and non-metals. You should understand or you should learn the examples of metalloids: boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic and antimony. Clear? Now we will proceed towards the compounds. This is all about the elements. In elements we have seen metals, non-metals and third is metalloids. Now we are proceeding towards the compounds. We will see what is compounds. See, compounds are the substances which is made by combining two or more elements in a fixed proportion. Compounds are those substances which is formed or which are formed by combining two or more elements in a different or in a fixed proportion. We can say in a fixed proportion. So we can write the definition of compounds: the elements, or we can say the substances which are formed by combining two or more elements in a fixed, or we can say definite proportions. Okay, compounds are the substances which are formed by combining two or more elements in a fixed or definite proportion. We can take the example of compound like water. Water is a compound. How water is formed? By hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, now we can say in the compound H2O, what is the number of hydrogen? 2. What is the number of oxygen? 1. So the water is formed by combining hydrogen and oxygen in a fixed proportion, that is 2:1. 2:1. This is known as compound. So compounds are the substances which are formed by combining two or more elements. See, these are the elements. is known as the compounds. Example, water. Water H2O. The ratio of hydrogen and oxygen in water molecule is 2:1. 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Okay, so these are the compounds. Now we will see the basic properties of compound. What are the basic properties of compounds? See, the first properties of compound is compounds are homogeneous. Okay, compounds are homogeneous. Second, the constituents, the property of constituent element are totally different in compounds. Okay, we'll understand this point. When the constituent elements are combined, then in the compounds the properties of the constituent element will be totally different. For example, water. Okay, for example, water H2O. Now this compound will show totally different properties than hydrogen and oxygen. See, this compound is formed by combining hydrogen and oxygen. So this compound water will show totally different properties from hydrogen and oxygen. When hydrogen and oxygen was separated or was in the elemental state, so hydrogen was showing some properties or oxygen was showing some properties, but after combining these two, they will show different properties. So we can say, or we can summarize this point as the elements after combining to form a compound will show total different properties, or we can say the compound will show totally different properties than their constituents element. Compounds will show totally different properties from their constituents elements. Okay, third point we can write compounds. In compounds the constituent elements can be separated by chemical process. Okay, in compounds the constituent elements can be separated by only chemical processes, not by physical processes. For example, again we take the example of water. Now from water molecule, if we want to separate hydrogen and oxygen, if we want to separate by hydrogen and oxygen, then this hydrogen and oxygen can only be separated by chemical processes, not by physical processes. Okay, we know that if we take a glass of water and if we want to take, or if we want to separate hydrogen and oxygen from that water, can we separate by physical means? No. The hydrogen and oxygen from water can only be separated by chemical process. Clear? Next property of element is okay. Next property of compound is the property number 4. Compounds shows fixed or definite melting points and boiling points. Okay, compound shows fixed or definite melting points or boiling points. For example, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. We all know that. So the water, if the water is pure, then it shows the boiling point only at the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, not more than that or not less than that. If the water is pure, again I am repeating, if the water is pure, okay, if the compound is, if any compound is pure, then it will show definite melting point or boiling point. Clear? Next property is the compounds of fixed melting point and boiling point. And the compounds, next property is the compounds cannot be separated by physical means. The compounds cannot be separated by physical process. Okay, this point we have already discussed, so we can say the elements of compound cannot be separated by physical means. So these are the properties of the compound. Now we have seen the examples of compound also. Now we will proceed for the mixtures. What is mixture and what are the basic properties of the mixture? Clear? Next is mixture. Next classification of matter is mixture. See, the first classification of matter was elements, compounds, and now the third classification is mixture. Okay, so the mixture. First, we will see what is the definition of mixture or what is the basic point of mixture. The mixtures are those substances in which the constituent elements are combined in any or different ratios. We can say mixtures are those substances in which the constituent elements are combined in any ratio. Okay, not fixed ratio. So we can say mixtures are those substances in which constituent elements are combined in any ratio. Okay, see, in compound the constituent elements was combining in a fixed ratio, but in mixture the constituent elements will be combined in any ratio. So now we see what are the properties of mixture first. So the elements from mixture can be separated easily by physical process. Okay, the elements from mixture can be separated easily by physical process. Let us understand by the example. If sand and iron foil, okay, iron foil and sand are mixed, then it is known as a mixture, and that sand particles and iron foil particles can be easily separated by physical process. They are known as mixture. Or the pieces of chalk and salt. The pieces of chalk and salt are mixed. Then we can separate them easily by physical process. So they are known as mixture. So mixtures are those substances which can be in which their constituent elements can be separated by physical process. In compound, the elements are separated by chemical processes, but in mixture, the constituent elements can be separated by physical process. Then we can say no new compound is formed. No new compound is formed in mixture. Okay, when we mix, for example, when we mix iron foil and sand, so is it possible to form a new compound? No, because iron foil and sand particles will not react with each other. Chalk pieces and salt particles cannot react with each other. Okay, therefore this is the point. That's why the particles can be separated by physical means. Okay, since the particles of mixtures are not chemically reacting with each other, therefore they can be separated by physical means. Okay, then third property of mixture is mixtures do not have definite melting point and boiling point. Okay, mixtures do not have the definite melting point or boiling point. See, what is mixture? Mixture, we can say it is like an impurity. So in any substances, when impurity comes, then its melting point and boiling point can be varies. Clear? So these are the properties of mixture. No new compound is formed by mixing two elements or two substances. No new compound is formed. Okay, mixture do not show definite melting point and boiling point. The particles of mixture can be separated easily by physical processes. And yes, one more property. Mixtures can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Okay, mixtures can be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Now, what is homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture? We'll see. Okay, now have you all cleared this? Okay, you can take a snapshot of this. Now we are proceeding with the classifications of mixtures. Okay, how the mixtures are classified. See, mixtures are classified in two types, that is homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture.